the present. And talking about bringing the past into the present, the Nigerian government has reversed the ban on admitting students under 18 into tertiary institutions. And the decision was made by the Minister of Education, Dr. Tunji Alausa, and announced during the 2024 policy meeting of the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, that's JAM. Right now, the initial ban, imposed by former Minister of Education in the person of Professor Tahir Maman, had restricted admissions to candidates 18 years or older, citing the need for emotional and academic preparedness. My name is Udwak Daniel, and we would be engaging this discourse with you and I, as well as our guest, who's going to be joining us via phone call as we go engaging in this conversation. But then let me also bring to you some key implications. I mean, if you also recall that before now and during the time when Professor Tahir Maman was still the Minister of Education, just before the shake-off, we deliberated on this, and quite a number of persons, including you, also added your voice in the discourse, saying that, hey, given divergent views, as to what that policy entails. While some had said that, well, emotionally, it didn't seem as though we were preparing the children, for what is up ahead, and it would be necessary to allow for children who are coming of age, right, to come of age by constitution, which is the age of 18, because at that time, even constitutionally, these would no longer be children per se, right? These will be adults, right? Even though in the African system, we still regard them as children, though. But yeah, they still be adults, and they would have had, just a little bit of understanding of what the world and the environment, as well as themselves, is about. But then others had said, with all of the lack of employment here and there, the striking here and there, and all of that, it will be insane, even when the government is not offering some concession or giving some palliative one way or the other. I try and train my children to school and everything, and is it my fault that my child has to be so intelligent, right? Something that you should be praising my child for. You are beginning to become the bottleneck that would serve as deprivation for my child getting into a higher education, pursuing higher knowledge. And they have very much vehemently pointed fingers on the 18-year age mark, saying, hey, what is the difference if my child is 16 years or 15 years? 15, 17, 18, 3 years. What difference does it make? Others who have their child who is 16 are saying 2 years to 18. What difference does it make? And for those, at least one that I know of, whose son, is 13, and next year will be 14, finishing, SS3 and writing the senior school certificates examination, at 14, would say, what difference does it make? 14, 15, 17, 18, okay, 4 years, what difference does it make? That already, the state of the nation alone has matured the children, right, into even thinking as adults, even though they were children. And some would even cite how old they were back in the day when they somewhat had some levels of freedom, when they began to work and began to live off independently of their parents and all. But then the conversation is still ongoing right there, as many still believe that rescinding on the earlier policy was just insensitive. But then to join the conversation right there this morning with us, in the studio via phone call would be Mr. Benedict Olalikon Agunloye, right? Mr. Benedict is an information professional. He's a policy and public affairs analyst, and we would go very conversational with him as he gives us 2 cents on the topical issue that we have in discourse. But might we also, let you in on some key implications? I mean, one of the key implications of the fact for this reversal is that the reversal is allowing more students to access higher education, especially potentially increasing social mobility, right, and reducing inequality, right? Another would be the fact that critics are arguing that younger students may not be academically prepared, potentially compromising academic standards. And yet another would be the fact that the reversal provides opportunities for exceptionally intelligent students under 18 to access tertiary education. Well, Mr. Benedict, Sir Benedict, Olaikon Agunloye, welcome to the discourse this morning.
Good morning.
Yes, please. Welcome aboard. It's no news. I mean, reversal of under 18 admission ban in Nigeria tertiary institutions. When you think about it, what comes to mind? I mean, you and I have had this conversation, at least with the listener, when this very policy or situation, was still anew, and we had made some suggestions. We've given some thoughts to it collectively as a family, as a people, as a nation, and here we are. There has been a shake-off, in the education sector, and here we are today. Right? And there is a reversal. What comes to mind? Is this positive? Should this be embraced? Is this cluelessness? Is this insensitivity? Or is this just some positivity going on for you now?
Well, we need to look at things straight off. The number one thing is that if you're going to enforce age restriction in schools, it's not something that you declare overnight. We need to go back to ensure that school entering age for primary school, if you say it's 6 years, it remains 6 years. Now, when you do that, over a period of time, you will realize that children of 8 and 9 years will no longer be entering secondary schools. But until that has been done, we will just be punishing and creating needless controversies to stop the teenagers at 16 or 17 from proceeding to the university. So we need to look at our policy. We need to look at the business of education. Unfortunately, all over the world, education is supposed to be charity, but in Nigeria, that seems to be the business we all claim we know how to run. Right? If you go back to check when we were doing You Win, you will realize that majority of the You Win victories were for people to start schools. Majority of which were primaries and nursery schools. So therefore, when you look at the gap, a lot of children in the secondary school right now are under the age of 16. Meaning that if you decide to stop them from proceeding, you will be stagnating them for like 2 years, and being teenagers that they are restless people, they have energy, and then we might be looking at untoward crime and criminalities coming up. And you might be having this set of children rebelling against the society. So I think that the reversal is right, but there must also be a plan in place to get things right so that our laws and principles are followed.
All right.
So to that extent, I think that it is a step in the right direction, but more actions are required.
Okay, well, Dr. Tunji Alausa, the newly appointed Minister of Education, has reversed the ban on admitting students under 18 into tertiary institutions. Now, the initial ban, announced by former Minister of Education Professor Tahir Maman, stated that only candidates 18 years or older would be eligible to take WAEC and NECO exams. However, after debates, considerations, the government have plans to review the country's education policy. And just one of the notably angles to it would be the federal government's decision to annul over 22,700 degree certificates obtained from fake universities in Togo and Benin Republic. And that one, of course, remains unchanged. Right? Now, imagine being a 16-year-old Nigerian student eager to pursue higher education, right? Only to be barred due to your age. The reversal of this ban brings hope to talented young Nigerians, and that is allowing them to access tertiary education as well as reach their full potential. But if we are to look at it, from the historical, context, Nigeria's education sector has faced challenges. including inadequate funding, poor infrastructure, and corruption. This reversal is supposed to be aimed at promoting accessibility and inclusivity in education. Do you think that would indeed be the aftermath of this in the end, especially considering how, porous, if you may, the society has become, the society that we have today, the economic realities and all of that? How positive is this? Strongly, in strong terms, just maybe one answer, one line of answer, is what I want to know from you, though.
Well, clearly, like I stated,
yeah,
up until the last common entrance exam, we are admitted, the federal government colleges admitted children 10 and above. So if you have admitted children at the age of 10 into secondary schools, they will necessarily finish in those unity schools at the age of 16. So that's why I said, if we are going to change policy, you need to tweak it and start from the foundation, which means you will now say, like maybe some of the military schools have decided before now, that you are not going to come into secondary school until you are 11 or 12. They admit 11 to 13, meaning that those children will finish between 17 and 18. Right? Mm-hmm. But if federal government colleges are taking children at 10, they will finish secondary school at 16. So the same government can therefore not say that you are not admitting children at 16 to the university. So you need to go back, rework the policy, and start at that level. That's one. Then, of course, on the issue of accessibility, yes, you need to have that. Children will not all develop at the same stage. And the reality is that now tying them to the age of 18, I think it's not a fair enough policy. Because it is not the fault of the children that they were admitted into secondary school at the age of 10. So to that extent, I think that a reversal is required. However, there should be a long-term plan of how we want to run the process. Of course, there would always be exceptional children, but the exception should not be the basic rule. It should be that in cases where the exceptions are found, they are allowed. I think that countries like the United Kingdom, obviously, you are likely not going to be able to start a public school until you are 6 or 7. You can't go into the public primary school in that country. So if you must go earlier than that, you go through a private school. No. And your parents will be responsible for a lot of things about that.
Yeah, one of the exemptions is the fact that exceptional talent. How then can we identify and support exceptionally intelligent students under 18? And don't you also think that might form a feud within the very society, as we know it, where some children will now be seen as exceptionally talented to get into the universities, even if they are not even up to the age of 18. Such considerations, how far and how well do you think that goes?
Well, number one, we need sincerity of purpose. Number two, we should have data that we are speaking to. Number three, there should be proper coordination. Now we are in the age of communication. So the barrier of you live in the village or you live in the city should not count. And it should be the responsibility of teachers to identify what student is punching above his weight and promptly recommend such for proper attention. Unfortunately, even our scholarships are given most times to the wrong people, because there is nepotism, there is corruption, there is a lot of things, there is insincerity. If we begin to do the right things at different levels, and then you have a pattern to say, okay, if you identify children with special skill, this is the organization, or this is the ministry, or this is the body where you report to. Such children should become a public trust that can be invested on for them to develop and become better. It should ordinarily not even be a process of the parents saying my child is good, but the school system should have a way of identifying the special talent in children, and we should have a process for nurturing the talent to greatness.
But we have seen...
Until we have such process in place,
yeah,
laws will just be laws.
Well, when you say laws will just be laws, some would also want to say that systems will also be systems, because as it stands, many have faulted the very system that institutionalizes the very education, platforms that we know it, or as we know it. In what way do I mean? Now, I'm talking about the fact that, while we are busy, or some believe that, we have lost priority for what should really be the bone of contention, or the subject of discussion, in that we should focus on strengthening the university systems and ensuring that it has, in all its capacity, in terms of security, in terms of welfareism, in terms of academic prowess and all of that, be suitable for the students who would be attending these schools. But then, what do we see today? And this is why some are believing that, look, the conversation should not really be about, oh, he's too young, oh, he's too old, oh, he has come of age. That the conversation should be about creating the right environment and space for these ones, to indeed succeed and grow into. What is your thought on that? I mean, if the conversation only ends about the age requirement and there is nothing done, beyond that, what next?
Well, like I said, we need sincerity of purpose. People who are asked to manage these institutions, the question you want to ask is, sometimes some of the funds into the system, are they rightly applied? And who is monitoring what? Can we actually sit down and say, okay, over the last 10 years, this is what and what and what the funds coming from TED Fund, for instance, for infrastructure development has been put into? Based on need assessment, have they all been met? Are the projects properly done and completed? Go around the universities and you will see a lot of gaps. The funds have been thrown at, and yet the gaps are not covered because the funds have been misapplied. So there is the case of misapplication of funds. There is also the case of, okay, you say you want people to be better trained. Some talk about curriculum. How many people sponsored abroad to do PhD, for instance, by TED Fund? How many of them return to their various universities to continue? A lot of time they go in there and they don't come back. So there is that gap in sincerity of purpose. There is that gap in loyalty to the nation. There is that gap in patriotism. Until those areas are also better addressed, throwing funds at the system may just be wasting time. So like we said, for the children, the fact that you say people 16 and above, 16 to people under 18 cannot enter, doesn't mean that you still can admit the number of students writing JAMB. The total number of students writing JAMB possibly is more than 300% the capacity that the universities we have altogether can admit. Meaning that even if you ban those children, you will still have more application than the vacancies that are available. So when you come therefore to capacity utilization, you know that we need to do more, like I would always say, in the area of data.
Okay.
Who should we be admitting? For what course? And when they graduate, where are they going? Where is our survey? Where is our report? I think elsewhere in Europe, they do what they call economic survey, job availability survey, skill gaps, and based on that, universities determine what number of students to admit for what course or what departments. And then you know what are the courses that should come up. But that's not the case with us. For us, education is not charity, education is business. And therefore, when you establish your university, you want to run law, you want to run nursing, you want to run medicine, where you think you can charge so much, and students will rush in to come and pay. Not necessarily that we have done a survey that shows the needs in our industrial sector. And that's why some will now come up and say we are producing students that are not employable. I disagree with such concept. The reality is that we have not created or established the need in the market. And so we are not meeting that need because we do not have the data or the deliberateness to provide, to meet the needs. So I think that's where it goes. So we should go a longer hug of saying, look, this is the body responsible for establishing needs. This is how we intend to manage the need over a period of 5 or 10 years. And so you will be able to get to a database somewhere where you know the courses that are relevant in the immediate, courses that will be relevant in the future, courses are going out of relevance. But we are not doing any such. You can't find any such report about the Nigerian market or the Nigerian public space. So for me, therefore, it is not just about throwing money, it is about ensuring that the right data are available for decision to be properly taken.
All right. Well, the conversation is still on, and we are still talking or looking into the topical issue that borders around the reversal of under-18 admission ban in Nigeria tertiary institutions. And our guest in the person of Mr. Benedict Olalekan has been quite resourceful in adding his voice, to the discourse. I remember earlier some of us wanted to really peel our minds on this topical issue. Well, here is the time. Here is the time for you to also engage in the discourse this morning, and let me know what your thoughts would be. I mean, just following, the statistics, recent statistics has showed that 22,700, is it 22,700 fake degrees have been, shut down, especially from universities in Togo and Benin Republic. 0907 353 0044 would be that number for you to call, and the other number would be 0908 766 8888. And you can as well get with the WhatsApp portal number on 0909 705 4450, and you can as well get across social media platforms, Facebook and YouTube, and add your voice to the discourse loudly and clearly. We will take your message ASAP. Taking this call now. Hello and good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning to you, Elder Onoja.
Elder Onoja is my name.
All the way from Cuba, right?
Yeah, on the way from Cuba.
Awesome. Talk to us, Elder.
My regard to Aguloye.
Yeah.
Can speak true. But the problem we have with education in Nigeria here is the curriculum. Updated courses in university. Before your child will go to university now, you are going to spend less than 1 million naira. And then if you go to university, those university authorities are giving the cost when it's not sellable in the market. If they need our education to be steady in Nigeria, there's overhaul the university from secondary school, from primary school. In the other country, from primary school, if you tell the child the feed where he grew for, that's the feed he's going to continue. But in Nigeria here, before you do WAEC, the secondary school, knife paper in different fields. Which type of blame he went that type begin to use? Go to JAM. The exam where they are giving to the JAM. You see, inside the pass, they'll cut off of the mark. And even if you pass, if you go to university, the university will give you aptitude test. You are going to pay heavy money before they will pass you. And then if to give you cost, you have to pay again. The corruption in university, corruption in the other diseases, unless they make total overhauling of our education in Nigeria. Even if you look at Minister came, that somebody above 18 years or 16 years not go to university. What of the talented children? And then we find out that the children, they are not in Nigeria here. Look how we went to bring a Nigeria education down. Many courses in university is that course where you can find it in the world again. What somebody do about 100 years ago, you send your application to go and read it in university. Every university now in abroad, they are creative. They are reading courses of creative, not courses of public admin, secretarial studies, this and this. All those papers is not available in the market.
All right,
Nigeria went to do, they have to sit down, divide the total of our education, and they make our education based on research or creative. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Elder. Appreciate that one from you, Mr. Agunloye. Well, you heard it already. What the elder said. What will be your thoughts on that? Are you there? All right. Well, we'll just go and pay some bills. We will be right back in a short bit. I see that you are trying to, put your voice, in the discourse. Well, exercise just a little bit patience. We'll be right back in a short bit.
Your number one radio experience you can count on. Eagles 102.3 Abuja.
Wow, this feature phone is so good.
Which phone is that?
It is the itel IT5627. It comes with a 2500 mAh battery, which gives you 55 hours of standby use. Charger, triple SIM slot, 3.0-inch screen, plus the 24 months warranty of worry-free use.
Huh? 24 months warranty?
Yes, go and get yours. itel IT5627. New itel, new experience.
Eagles 102.3 Abuja.
Have you heard of the latest car maintenance, overhaul and repair service center in Abuja?
Oh, wait a minute.
BB Empire Motor Services Limited is the place. We offer a wide range of services which include full engine repair, brakes and discs, lubrication, industrial spare parts fabrication, digital diagnosing, injector and rotor servicing, wheel balancing alignment, vulcanizing, spare parts of all cars, car checker, recovery of vehicles, AC servicing and repairs of all kinds of cars. You can visit us today at a state-of-the-art multi-digital workshop located at plot 1374 Cadastral Zone C16 along Julius Berger Road, Idu Industrial District, Abuja. You can also call us on 080-6433-3100 or 090-1066-0869. BB Empire Motor Services Limited, the solution for your car needs and services.
Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja. Here to stay.
Please listen to this infomercial.
Hello Nigeria. Hello Africa. Do you want to work in the healthcare sector? Do you want to be a trained certified nursing assistant, medical assistant, or caregiver? If yes, then register to enroll for Push Africa's 1-year diploma in certified nursing assistant training happening at the African University College of Science and Technology, Abuja. Targeted trainees are unemployed graduates, O-level or ordinary diploma graduates, or anyone interested interested in working as a support worker in the healthcare sector. For details, log on to www.pushafrica.org or WhatsApp 080-339-42015, 080-550-45801, 080-339-42015, 080-550-45801 for registration.
Sorry for the inconvenience.
I suppose it was inevitable.
Eagles 102.3.
All right, feels good to welcome you back. Fresh air right there after returning from that breather. And yes, we still talking matter that concerns the very reversal, right? The reversal of under-18 admission ban in Nigerian Tertiary institution. And we still have our guest in the person of Mr. Benedict Oladeko Agunloye. He's an information professional, policy and public affairs analyst. Well, I see that you put in that call through now. Let's take it. Hello and good morning.
Barrister.
Yes, good morning to you, Obasanjo.
Good morning, our guest over there.
Right. Obasanjo, where are you calling from? Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Omale,
yes,
Niger
please.
State.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much for that. Talk to us very quickly.
Thank you. Like you said, our guest has been done justice to that. Daddy Onoja has been done justice to that. What are we doing? Where are we going? Well, see, the curriculum of the university today, or the educations today, I am telling you, I don't know where are we heading to. People have been graduating from the good thing. All over the world are graduating for good things. Nigerian, we're going back. And Barrister, please, after the program, go around Abuja, go out to the rural communities and see how the level of educations in primary school are. Not talked about the secondary school. Then you come back equally. That is what we all talked about, the journalism. They will not stay in one place. Go around and see. Come to our community. I am telling you, Jesus, wallahi, there will not be education tomorrow. And this government and these people leading us, wallahi, God will ask them everything of their life. Why? Because from primary school to secondary school, from secondary school to the JAM, from the JAM down you go to the university. Another bege, wahala.
All right, Obasanjo, I get it. You made your point. I get it.
Let the justice be done. Go back to the real communities and say, okay, primary school has been set up in a good curriculum. Thank you, Barrister.
All right, Obasanjo right there, although Niger adding their voice and saying there's a need to revisit the curriculum. Well, if you do agree, you could as well let us into your 2 cents. If you don't agree, you can as well let us know why exactly you're having a problem with that. But Mr. Benedict, we're back, with you already, and family members have shared their thoughts, and there is something that really bothers me, and this is as a result of a combination of thoughts from Nigerians that has been culminated, putting together and considered. Do you think it's a curriculum issue that we have, such that we do not have the type of environmental or university environmental space that supports, early birds who just gained admission into the university? Or do you also think that, maybe, just maybe, we have let the university, system seem very porous, whereby the rules, there are no stringent rules, that indeed guide the behavioral conformity within the university space to ensure that people still act rightly and are well supervised?
Well, let's look at the spectrum. A university is to be established. You require the NUC to give accreditation to the courses, right? The university set up its own faculties maybe set up its rules of how the students should be engaged and be managed. And of course, because number one, when you say university, you're talking about unity in diversity. That is, the system is able to bring together all the dimensions from where the people are coming from, and bring out an output or an outcome that will be beneficial to all, that will, of course, enhance and raise the status of humanity. Now, to that extent, I would say that a lot of universities are trying to put things in place. And for those hammering and harping on curriculum change, a country that has 24 hours power supply can afford to do a number of things in their primary schools. If you are to do the same in the secondary or the university in Nigeria, you are going to need generator and diesel. Now, I don't know how many nursery schools in Nigeria can afford to run generator for 10 hours in a day for the students to be in class. So, because a lot of times people compare and you realize that somebody is comparing apple or is comparing mango with cashew or is comparing orange with purple. They are not exactly the same. So we just need to look at what are our outcomes. And the question we want to ask here is, the students who finish in our secondary schools and go abroad for university, do they fail in those schools? The answer is no, they do very well. Those who leave the shore of this nation to do masters, majority of them are the best in their class wherever they get to. To an extent, therefore, you might say that even though what we see in Asia is not what we are seeing here, in terms of preparing the mind and the thinking capability of our students, I think that whatever curriculum we have at the moment is meeting that gap. However, curriculum development should be a continuous effort, right? It's not cast in stone. It should be a continuous effort. But an outright condemnation of whatever we have now will also not work. In some of those places they refer to, every student have access to a computer. I'm sure that here, if you are going to bring in that rule, then you will experience to go and buy laptops for all the children, is it not? And at what cost will that be to the parents? And how convenient will that be to even the children carrying it around? Because some of the environment they are comparing with, the train is running, the buses are running, and so you just need to come to your bus stop and you get to where you are going. Not rushing the bus with anybody, not trekking kilometers. And on those buses and trains, you possibly have a special ticket for students. We don't have some of those supporting systems here yet. So blaming or killing the educational sector alone will not solve our problem. So definitely for me, the curriculum may need some adjustment, but the reality is that to a large extent, we cannot call our curriculum a failed curriculum. Now, education is meant to give you what we call fundamental knowledge. To actually bring you to the place of work, you need what is called the technical knowledge, which would only come from training. And maybe forward, you are looking at tactical knowledge based on the fact that you have experience and you want to compete in the workplace. So it is not the school that will teach you to compete. It is not the school that will teach you to do some specific work. No. The school should give you knowledge. Your employer should give you training. Your experience should help you to compete. And so to that extent, we need to put things in their various perspectives. Our primary schools in order, I don't agree. You still see children, even in some of the so-called bigger states, sitting on the floor. No toilet in the school, no table and chair. A lot is wrong, at least at that primary level, whether public and or even in some private. Of course, they will tell you there is no playing ground, there is no this, there is no that. When you listen to the children in churches or wherever you meet them, and you see them comparing or analyzing or assessing the school, you will know that a lot of our primary schools are actually not fit for the children to develop. So it's not just about the curriculum alone. The curriculum will not hang in space. It's going to be supported by the environment.
All right.
You go to public secondary school in Abuja and you are seeing over 60 in the class. I don't think that is good enough.
Mr.
And
Benedict,
the schools have massive lands.
Yeah, let me put it back to your thoughts. Let's just hear this call. Okay, that's a mess though. Keep in mind that you can also join the conversation 0907 353 0044 or 0908 766 8888. And the WhatsApp portal number is 0909 705 4450, and you should only send a WhatsApp message, not a voice call, not a call through to the WhatsApp portal number, just a WhatsApp message, and we'll be here to herald your thoughts. Hello and good morning.
Morning.
Hello.
Hello. Good morning.
Yes, good morning to you. Is this Honorable?
Yeah.
Honorable Edwards. Where are you calling? Okay, Apple. All right, talk to us, Honorable.
No, I actually want to contribute a lot to this program.
Right.
I just entered in my house, looking at the television. President Buhari, Tinubu has announced the date of Lagbaja. So my feeling is down. But whoever that want to contribute to this program, I can't go more. Whoever that wants to contribute this program should know that this is the foundation of our children's education.
Right.
Thank you. God bless you.
Okay, thank you, Honorable Edwards, right there. I just hope that you are fine. Sometimes these happen, especially with us who get to see these information on a daily. But then we just try and stay strong, right? That's right. So let's just get to the WhatsApp now and see this message from Samuel, all the way from Kuje. Samuel says, greetings to you, my brother, Udwak Daniel. Okay, let me say that the ban, first of all, was totally wrong and ill-planned. Nigerian children are so gifted and talented. The ban was to hinder these talented children not to progress educationally. This is what you see when the unqualified people are made to be in offices or ministries they don't know nothing or anything about. They will just go there and begin to mess things up and with unrealistic policies. Until we start having experienced and qualified people to take charge of our institutions, this backward policies from inexperienced and unqualified people will not stop. Corruption must be dealt with in our education sector. All right, it says thanks and have a great day. Thank you too, Samuel, and taking this call now. Hello and good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, good morning to you, please. What's your name? Where you calling from?
It's Dayo from Kefi.
All right, Dayo, all the way from Kefi. I should give you the bell. Right, that's right. Welcome, Dayo, all the way from Nasarawa State. Talk to us now.
Thank you. I want to just do brief regarding to the educational problem that is being discussed about.
Right.
Regard to the policy that the former professors of the Minister of
Tahir Maman, yeah.
Yeah, it was a setback program that he initiated.
Okay.
Which Nigeria actually kicked against, and he failed to yield to it, and that has been the problem that made him out of the state.
Right.
Now the program, the current minister has now set aside the policy. It's a welcome development. The real problem is it's not the issue of students enrolling into high institutions in time, or sending them up from writing their exams and getting a. If a child is capable to face and then the challenges, I think should be allowed to do that. The problem is the numbers of 20 million students out of children out of school should have been the problem he would have been facing to resolve, not discouraging those who have strived to make sure they get admission. The problem of our education is the numbers of the years being spent in our institutions. Should also be another problem, whereby strike will come in. All this were not put into consideration. We would have harmonized his ideas with the stakeholders in education. He bringing out your views that the stakeholders were involved. Most of the stakeholders kicked against it when this policy came up. The stakeholders who have institutions, who have their schools, kick against this program, and even the teachers kick against this program. So I don't know where the program was coming from. It was more or less like trying to set back those who are less privileged, who are getting admission to higher education. bringing them back and discouraging the brain drain. It wasn't a good policy to reckon with.
All right.
Because with that, a lot was going to crime.
Okay.
And it couldn't visit Nigeria. So the current minister who is there should listen to the stakeholders in education, should listen to the masses, you bring programs and listen to what people you ask, and then channel his policies in a way that will favor and develop our education, than taking policies that we don't have monopolies of knowledge. If we seek views from people, if you are there, does not mean we being educated, does not make you have all the ideas of the problems. So you seek views and then take down things.
Okay.
And then follow on in line with what is being the current trend in which people are passing through education.
Right. I get that. Thank you. You too, my brother. All right. All the way from Kefi in Nasarawa State, Mr. Benedict. I mean, I don't know. First of all, Honorable Edwards, I don't know. I just hope he's okay, though. Almost experiencing a breakdown right there. You know, as he says, there's so much he wants to talk about. Oh, he just turned on the television and he has seen yet another thing that has weighed him down. And I don't know. We're thinking, especially when we begin to think from the point of view that, look, we're talking about the future. We're talking about, in no distant time, adults that will become adults to take over the helms of affairs. Is there any hope so far? Is there any hope nearby to get it right?
Absolutely, there is hope. We have better access as of today. There are better information. We only hope that those who are responsible for regulation, for monitoring, for evaluation at the various levels will do the needful. We need an overhaul of the primary school system. We need, of course, to improve on the current secondary school level. I don't think having 60 or more students in a class is fair enough in the public school. I don't think that not having seats, not having playing ground in the primary school makes any sense. At that age, the children need to rove around, they need to play, they need to exercise themselves. And so putting them in one choked building and having one toilet to 400 students, I think they are not good enough. So the health sector, the education sector need to work together to be sure that these schools are meeting the need of the children.
Right.
Of course, when we talk about out-of-school children, we need to do all that we can to get them out of the street and get them into the school. But more importantly, at every level, the ward, the local government, the state, we should have records and information that can help in planning to ensure that every child is catered for. And I would continue to insist, you don't say you are making policy just because of the talented children. No, irrespective of the policy in place, identify, we should have a process clearly defined to identify talented children. So you don't just do a general rule because of them. No, they are not in the majority. And so you must identify them, nurture them, and bring them to where they should be.
Yeah, but let me quickly call in there, right? Don't you think this whole idea of not making it a general conversation in that regard would cause more problems? Because when you say that talented, whose child is not talented? That's my point. Whose child is not talented? Because it might just cause yet another uproar. And then it might just be a conversation about, that child, has been pushed because they think is talented. What about my child? And it might just be another conversation. Nobody wants to really go into that. So don't you think that this should have just been a general thing? If you're saying that everybody 16 should go into school, fine, let it be 16. And not trying to tell us that there are exemptions and that there should be talented people who should get into school. And if when we're talking about talented, some other persons will want to very quickly say that what is the amount of exposure to the knowledge? What is the teaching technique from the primary schools that this particular student that has been tagged untalented, has been exposed to? Right? Maybe if that person had the same, pedestal to ride on, the person will do better and also be seen as talented. Right.
Well, I should say this, right? Barcelona, for instance, has a football academy, is it not?
Yes.
And people go there. Can you rate every player that has come to them the way you put it on your map? The answer is no. God has, I think, even in the Bible, when Moses was trying to build the ark, God specifically told him, get this person and this person because they are skilled and they have special talent in doing this craft.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Okay.
So we are not all created equal. We are a team, and everybody has their role in the team. Now, the problem is when you make it general. Why do people want expo? Why are people calling for great results? Why are parents following their children to the jump hall? It's because there is a general rule that favors everybody, and so you want to prove or you want to get the result that is not correct.
Okay.
So to a large extent, when you have the general rule, it is a general rule, but there should be a process for reporting and identifying. I have this boy in my school and he's punching above his weight. I have this girl, he's punching. There should be a platform, a national platform where such children can be introduced into.
Okay.
And then their talents and special skill can be nurtured.
All right then.
Until we do that, we will be wasting a lot of special talents.
Right. Okay.
Every child is talented, but there are special talents.
All right.
With every other,
all right.
Because you eventually kill such talent. That's what I'm saying.
Very well then. Thank you so much. I appreciate that one. I mean, the economic impact, of this would be, increased investment in education, as well as expectations will be long-term in economic growth. Social impact will be about increased social mobility, and expectations will be about reduced inequality. And there's also been talks about, handling this, situation at this bedrock, at this bedrock period, so that it doesn't also catapult to a state where we would now start having, because of depression, parents sending their children to schools outside of Nigeria, that when they do come back, of course, they become discredited and seen as having fake degrees, certificates, and all of that. As mentioned, of course, in Togo, degrees from Togo, degrees from Benin Republic, some schools or some institutions, in these countries have also been flagged down. But thank you so much, for adding your voice to the discourse this morning. You are Mr. Benedict Olalikon Agunloye, an information professional, policy and public affairs analyst. Thank you for joining us on the show today.
You're welcome.
Appreciate that. And yes, to you too for adding your voice. You have been immense, and your voice has indeed been very loud and clear. Thank you too. Tomorrow is yet another day. Tomorrow on my Faith will be here to take you on this journey. And yes, be politically conscious, be politically sound, and follow across social media platforms as it were. Have a great day.
102.3 Abuja.
This is Eagles 102.3 News.